Hello, this is Heather Hoffman, and today I'm here to show you how I created the Galaxy background for this card using watercolors. It's something I just recently had tried. I'd always been inspired looking at different watercolor backgrounds and always felt really intimidated, and I finally just gave it a try, and I just kind of discovered it was tons and tons of fun. So I'm just using some pan watercolors. You can use any type of watercolors you have. I'm also using a water brush. Again, you could use a normal paintbrush and just dip it in water to wet your brushes. And I usually start with kind of my highlight colors, and I just kind of pick an area that I'm gonna highlight. So here I use the purple and kind of the lighter blue, and then I start coming in with darker colors around. In this one I'm gonna use just kind of a medium shade of blue first to kind of come around those other areas and blend, and then I'm gonna come in with a deeper blue that'll fill in even the dark areas around this. And I'll be honest, the first few times I made these, and even now when I make them, honestly, when you finish the watercolor part, it kind of just looks like a hot mess. It's once you come in a little later and add the splatters, that's when it really starts to come together and look like what it's supposed to be. So if you do it and it just looks like it's a mess, don't give up hope, keep going, because it'll probably fix up and end up looking better than you expect in the end. So keep going forward and keep doing it. So I used some good sturdy watercolor paper for this, and I used just blue painter's masking tape to tape it onto, I'm using a bamboo board. You can use any kind of board. You don't even have to tape it. I just like doing that now because it kind of holds it a little bit flatter, keeps it from curling up with all the moisture you're putting on here. You're putting a lot of paint and a lot of water. So right at the end there, I'm also adding some splatters on there with the deeper blue. While it's still wet, that's just going to kind of blend out and add a little more texture to the finished design. So once this is finished, I set this aside and let it dry really well before I did the next part. You can hit it with a heat gun too. It's harder when it's taped onto a board like this, so I just let it dry naturally, and I like the look of it better when it dries on its own. Now I'm adding some white paint. I have a little mini mister bottle, and I've mixed just inexpensive white acrylic paint with water. Roughly half and half. You can play with those proportions and pick what you want, and then I pull out instead of spraying it on where you get more of a solid spray, I pull it out and just tap the end with my finger to add the bigger splatters. And then to add some gold, I have a Gansey Tambi Starry Colors palette, and that's my favorite way to add gold splatters. If you have a bottle of gold spray mist or anything, you can do the same thing with that. And again, I just wet it with a water brush and then use the end of that to dip in and tap and put it on. It's hard to see those in the video, but it really does add to the finished effect at the end. Now at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and pull my painter's tape off. This video is sped up ×2, so it looks like I'm pulling it pretty fast. I've learned to pull it fairly slow and gentle. So just keep in mind, I'm doing it half as fast as this video makes it look like I'm doing. It comes off pretty clean and easy, but if you pull too quick or rip too hard, it can pull off the edges of your tape a little bit and mess it up. Now I have the little rocket and the little Moon Man from Reverse Confetti's Moon Man stamp set, one of the new releases. I heat embossed a sentiment already on a little strip of midnight cardstock and just trimmed it with my paper trimmer into a thin strip. And as I decide how I want to arrange all these images on the front, I'm going to place my foam adhesive on the back of each image, and then before I peel it off, I'm kind of playing with my placement to decide how I want to fit them all on there. And I moved them around a couple different ways before I picked the way that I was kind of happy with on there. And then once I'm happy with the arrangement, I'm going to peel off that foam adhesive, the sticky backing on the back, and stick them all in place. And at that point, your scene will be finished, and you can mount that onto a card base. It's so much fun to play with different colors with Galaxy backgrounds, and you can add in yellows and oranges and reds, and you can add black if you want, different shades of blue and green. Definitely something fun to play with and try different things. I hope you enjoyed and feel inspired. Have a great day. Thanks.